Good afternoon. My name is James Butenbaugh. I am the class coordinator for the 278th Basic Academy class. And I want to welcome everyone to their graduation reception. Class 278, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Right face. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Class 278, center face. Please be seated. On behalf of the KLETC administration, instructional, and support staff, we would like to congratulate all of you for completing your training at KLETC. During your time at KLETC, you have walked past the Wall of Honor. The Wall of Honor is a reminder of the ultimate sacrifice paid by each of the KLETC graduates memorialized. At this time, we would like to take a moment of silence to honor the 27 KLETC graduates that have given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. It is a KLETC tradition to deliver, for the class president to deliver a few brief remarks on behalf of the graduating class. Ladies and gentlemen, the 278th Basic Training Class President, Nicholas Delaney of Pawnee County.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 278th graduation ceremony of the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center. My name is Nicholas Delaney, the 278th class president. Thank you, gentlemen, for the opportunity to serve as your president for our academy experience. On behalf of the entire class, we are excited to be here, and we are all very thankful for our department heads, co-workers, staff, faculty, and those of you watching online. Thank you for believing in us and supporting us in this endeavor. Also, a very special thank you to the instructors who have spent hours preparing lesson plans and practicals to ensure we gain the knowledge and training we need to be successful in our careers. I want to take a moment and speak directly to my fellow classmates. We have come a long way in the last 14 weeks. We have officers from all over the state. We have various backgrounds and experiences. In the time together, we have built a strong bond that will be with me for many years to come. We have dealt with pain, both physically and mentally. We've gained so much, but we have also had our losses and our other various battles. What an honor it is to be here with you today. I think back to February 15th and that first morning walking into classroom 1, with the rest of you thinking, what did I get myself into? And I'm sure many of you thought the same thing. Well, here we are, a group of individual men who have become brothers. Sure, we still have our quarrels, but what brothers don't? We have heard it from multiple instructors that we have a unique bond, and I hope that bond remains strong as we go our separate ways from here. Today marks a beginning of the public eye being on us in a whole new way. There will be many firsts, many repeats, but hopefully very few lasts. There will be many 10-8s, 10-7s, many calls, many Miranda readings, and many arrests. But never let the job consume you, and absolutely never allow complacency to overtake you. Even though we have come to the end of our time here at KLETC, the learning experience is just beginning. May we take the foundation we have built here and continue to grow it for the remainder of our careers. In fact, I challenge each of you to never stop learning. For this is a career that will forever be changing, and there will always be something new to learn. So take the same hard-charging attitude I have witnessed from each of you and strive to make yourself a better officer than you were the day before. There are a number of topics and ideas that I could focus on, but after much thought, I figured I should narrow it down to just a couple. The first and foremost is something that has been drilled into myself ever since I joined the Air Force in 2004, and again, since I have been here at KLETC. In the Air Force, we have 3 core values we live by: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. So I again challenge you to never lose your integrity. No matter how rough the situation may appear, integrity should never be compromised. I have heard numerous explanations of integrity over the years, but the one that has stuck with me the most is integrity is doing the right thing even if nobody is watching. Many times in my life, this phrase has come to mind in various situations, and I will tell you, it wasn't always easy making the right decision. But at the end of the day, I know I felt better about myself than if I had allowed my integrity to be compromised. We will all go down different paths once we leave here. Some will be going back to an FTO program, others will be returning to the jail, while others will experience something totally different. Don't be scared to ask the questions that you have. We've been told many times in our 14 weeks here that there is no such thing as an ignorant question. So continue that thought process once you return to your agencies. Make each day a learning experience. I told you I had a couple of topics to cover, and I want to close with the second one. I once heard a speech, true or not, it fits our current situation, about a crow and an eagle. In that story, it talked about how the crow is the only bird that will peck at an eagle. The crow sits on the eagle's back and pecks at the eagle's wings. The eagle does not respond by biting the crow. It simply opens its wings and climbs higher and higher into the sky. The higher the eagle flies, the harder it is for the crow to breathe. Then, due to the lack of oxygen, the crow falls away and the eagle is free. The moral of the story is, don't waste your time with the crows of life. The crows of life are the challenges we will face. They represent so many things in our lives, things that should not be in our lives, the distractions and noises of the world. Everything that is drawing your attention away from you being the best that you can be needs to be cut out of your life. You can choose to fight everything that draws your attention away from being the best you can be, or you can be like the eagle and soar higher and higher and begin to see your challenges fall away. When you're faced with critics, go higher. When you're faced with challenges, go higher. When life seems to be giving you nothing but problems, you go higher. You go higher by being better. By putting your efforts into yourself, you go higher. Learning, working hard, and working smarter. Then, when the crows of life show up, they won't be able to hang around long as they are unable to breathe at your level. When you improve, your life improves. With each challenge, you grow stronger. So when life challenges you in your career and future, be the eagle and go higher. Gentlemen, in closing, I want to congratulate you on a job well done. I want to thank you all for the memories made. Remember all that we have been taught, and vow to continue learning as you return to your agencies and communities. Men, no matter how far away we may be physically, you will never be alone. I got your six, 24/7, 365 days a year. It has been my pleasure learning with you and serving beside you outside of these, It has been my pleasure learning with you and serving beside you, and I pray that that continues outside of these walls. I want to leave you with a quote from a former instructor. Be like bamboo, bend, but don't break. Gents, here we go. Thank you.
Go on, step back up here, Nick. Deputy Delaney, on behalf of the KLETC administration and staff, we would like to present you with this plaque as appreciation of you being the class president. I'm going to leave it up here at the table that you can pick it up after the ceremony. Thank you. At KLETC, we like to recognize those students who have excelled in the physical and skill areas during the 14 weeks basic training curriculum. Deputy Jacoby Williams of the Saline County Sheriff's Office, would you please stand? Would you please join me at the podium? Our first award is the Top Shooter Award. This award recognizes the student officer of the 278th Basic Training Class for their firearms proficiency. Deputy Jacoby Williams has distinguished himself as the top shooter in the 278th Basic Class. Please join me in recognizing the Deputy Williams' achievements. Please be seated. Now I'd like to present the Fitness Awards. Deputy Jimmy Golden of the Gray County Sheriff's Office and Sergeant Daniel Everhart of the Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office. Please join me at the podium. These two deputies completed the 200-mile club. To be recognized as completing the 200-mile club, a student must complete 30 push-ups in a minute, 30 sit-ups in a minute, and run the 1.5 miles in 18 minutes or less. Additionally, they have to log over 200 miles or more outside of classroom activities while maintaining their academic obligations. We would like to recognize Deputy Golden for logging the most miles during the 200-mile club challenge and Sergeant Everhart for being the most improved student completing the 200-mile challenge. Please help me in recognizing these deputies and all their hard work. You may be seated. Now I'd like to introduce from the City of Pratt, Chief Nate Humble. He started his career in law enforcement as a dispatcher for the Pratt Police Department in August of 2003. Then on November 3rd, 2003 until February 26th of 2004, he attended Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center as part of the 275th Basic Training Class. On September 12th, 2014, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant with the Pratt Police Department. And later on November 15th, 2018, Nate Humble was appointed by the City of Pratt to be the Chief of Police for the Pratt Police Department. I give you Chief Nate Humble.
Good afternoon. First of all, I want to say what an absolute honor it is to be here today. When I was asked to be the keynote speaker to the 278th Basic Training graduating class, I was taken back, and I thought to myself, wow, just 18 years ago, I was graduating KLETC in these seats. Now, here I am today to speak to you about my career and what I look for in the officers that I lead. First off, I invite you to look around at each other. For the past 14 weeks, you've learned about your fellow classmates. You've learned each other's names. You've learned what departments they work for or office, and you know a little bit about their background. Now what I want you to do is take a look at yourself and then ask yourself this question: who am I? You're all law enforcement officers and officially certified through the state of Kansas. Most importantly, what this means, you're leaders of your respected communities. I'm going to refer to you as leaders and not officers throughout this speech. So now, what is it that I mean when I ask you to ask yourself, who am I? Well, this is a question that I had to ask myself early in my career. And now 18 years later, I ask this to myself daily before I go to work. So what is it exactly do I mean when I ask myself, who am I? Well, I'm asking these things. What are my principles? What kind of leader do I want to be? What goals do I have and how will I accomplish them? And what do I want people to say about me during my career and then ultimately at the end of my career? So now that I've asked these questions, I want to break down character into 4 things that I believe determines what good character is. Number 1 is humility. Charles Hayden Spurgeon said, "Get a friend that will tell you your faults. Better yet, welcome an enemy who will watch you keenly and sting you savagely. What a blessing such an irritating critic will be to a wise man." Now more than ever, law enforcement's under the microscope, and it seems to be picked apart for almost everything that we do, whether it be good or bad. We know that we're not perfect in this job, and we're always learning. But when we have an incident where things didn't go perfect, or maybe they went entirely wrong, we react with good character, or we don't react to that at all. This takes a little bit of humility. People make mistakes all the time, and it's what we learn from those mistakes and how we apply what we've learned to make sure that we don't make the same mistake again. A bit of humility happened in my career about 13 years ago, and believe me, I took a lot from this mistake, and it has never happened again. My sergeant and I were heading to a call of a domestic disturbance. It was an argument, and we've responded there many times. It was a hot summer day, and we became complacent. Neither one of us were wearing our ballistic vest underneath our uniforms. When we got to the residence, the girlfriend invited us in and asked us to come into the living room. When we got in there and started speaking to her, the boyfriend emerged from the kitchen. He asked us to sit down on the couch that was there and that we'd go ahead and talk through the things. This time, the girlfriend, you could tell she was a little bit nervous, and she asked, because used to the routine, to go to separate rooms so we could talk there. Well, at this time, the boyfriend went to a recliner that was across from the couch. She got hysterical and said, "He has a gun in the cushion of the recliner." My sergeant and I immediately drew down on the male, got him detained. Talk about humility. When the girlfriend, later on, she said what he was having us do was sit down on that couch, and he was going to shoot me and my sergeant, or whoever responded, and then ultimately shoot her. It's a mistake that I never let happen again. Number 2 is discipline. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence then is not an act, but it's a habit. As I've said a few times now, you're leaders of your respective communities and seen out in the public. But discipline starts with private accountability. These are habits and disciplines applied when no one is looking. When you wake up, getting started for your shift, what habits have you created to set the standard of discipline? When you go to work, what habits have you implemented to make sure that whatever the day decides to throw at you, you're going to respond without any doubt that you're going to conquer the twists and turns that the day brings? When I was working a patrol shift, and still to this day, I make it a habit to arrive 15 minutes early to the law enforcement center or be ready to be picked up when I was working shift. What this did is not only one, it created a good example to the other officers. It also showed my fellow law enforcement officers that I'm putting forth the effort to make sure that I'm here for them, and any carryover or delay, any carryover that may delay their efforts to complete their shift would be handled accordingly. Number 3 is courage. Your courage for this job started the day that you filled out the application to be a law enforcement officer. Knowing the risks that come with this job and still applying for the line of work, that took a lot of courage. Now having even more of an understanding for the job, you know that it's going to take a small amount of courage to stand to the storm that is coming. Sometimes the storm is small and it only takes a little bit of courage. Sometimes the storm is going to be far bigger than we have ever imagined, and it's going to take a whole lot of courage. But know that no matter what, you'll always weather that storm. In my NTA book, ticket book, I wrote 2 things so I'd see these words every day before I went to work. 1, put God first. 2, always go home to family. I wrote these things in my ticket book because it reminds me that I have courage and never have a doubt with God and or family. Courage to stand up to the day's challenges almost becomes natural without even thinking about it. Number 4, integrity. You've heard it many times. I know you've all heard it a time or two here at KLETC. And as a matter of fact, of the 7 core values of KLETC, number 1 reads, devoted, to integrity and excellence in every aspect of our work. Heck, right now, we're in Integrity Auditorium. If you haven't figured it out yet, integrity is probably one of the most important characteristics of one's character. There's nothing that'll test a person's integrity more than power. In this line of work, you have an awesome amount of power that's been entrusted in you, and I'm asking you, don't ever jeopardize your integrity. In closing, I want you to ask yourself again, who am I? And I hope that you have a new look on what this means. You've invested 14 weeks of your lives here at KLETC to start defining yourselves in a career that is second to none. There will be many good times in your career, and there will be some bad. I encourage you all to take it one day at a time, encourage each other, display great qualities of leadership, and make sure that you're setting the example of true leadership in your respected communities. Again, congratulations, thank you, and God bless.
Stay right here, Chief. All right. Chief Humble, on behalf of the KLETC administration and staff, we would like to present you with a plaque as appreciation for being the commencement speaker for the 278th basic training class. Thank you,
very
Chief.
much. Thank you.
At KLETC, ethics are the forefront of training. The oath of ethics affirmation is a consistent reminder of the importance of doing the right thing. The ultimate purpose of law enforcement is public service. When a law enforcement officer takes the oath of office, they assume great responsibility. They have entered a position of being role models, where they must lead by example. They become enforcers of the law and protectors of society. Because the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center believes the concepts and principles within the oath should be a dominating force in all officers' lives, I asked Class President Nicholas Delaney to lead the class with the oath of affirmation to the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. Deputy Delaney, could you please step forward and lead the class in the oath of affirmation?
Class 278, please stand. Class 278, please raise your right hand for the oath of affirmation. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States, the state of Kansas, my community, and the agency I serve.
Please be seated. I congratulate all of you on your accomplishments and Godspeed each of you. Now, Deputy Nicholas Delaney will announce the names of the graduates of the 278th Basic Training Class. Associate Director of Basic Training, Alvin Sowers, please join us on the stage to present the certificates.
Front row, please stand. Nicholas Allen, Pratt Police Department. Clark Besthorn, Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. Matthew Blair, Phillips County Sheriff's Office. David Brandt, Dodge City Police Department. Daniel Everhart, Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office. Jack Gerler, Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. Connor Geese, Saline County Sheriff's Office. Front row, please return to your seats. Please be seated. Second row, please stand. Jimmy Golden, Gray County Sheriff's Office. William Hill, Saline County Sheriff's Office. Jason Huey, Wyandotte County Sheriff's Office. Dallas Hunt, University of Kansas Police Department. Jeremy Ludke, Jewell County Sheriff's Office. Jeff Miller, Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Zachary Porterfield, Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. Second row, please return to your seats. Please be seated. Third row, please stand. Kevin Reed, Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. Francis Schiavo, Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office. Cisco Soto, Dodge City Police Department. Lucas Taylor, Colby Police Department. Gabe Vitt, Labette County Sheriff's Office. Jacoby Williams, Saline County Sheriff's Office. John Zimmer, Hayes Police Department.
Nicholas Delaney, Pawnee County Sheriff's Office. Third row, please return to your seats. Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to recognize Deputy Michael DeCore from the Trigo County Sheriff's Office as a graduate of the 278th Basic Training Academy class, who is unable to attend today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today's graduation ceremony. Associate Director of Basic Training, Alvin Sowers, will now deliver a few closing remarks and conclude today's ceremony by formally certifying the members of the graduating class as completing the training requirements for certification as full-time law enforcement officers.
I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all the families and friends that join us out there in our live stream, as well as the agencies who sent these officers to us. If I could ask the class 278 to please stand. On behalf of Director Beck, I hereby certify that each of you have satisfied the training requirements to be certified law enforcement officers for the state of Kansas. And for what you've been waiting for 14 weeks, finally, class dismissed.